Hello students, welcome to the video lectures of speech and natural language processing. Today we'll talk about the ambiguity and word sense disambiguation, and we'll see one by one what is ambiguity, what is word sense disambiguation. So first, ambiguity in NLP refers to situation where a word, a phrase or sentence can have multiple interpretations. That is basically we call as ambiguity. And we have seen ambiguity as a challenge of many topics which we have covered in our previous video lectures as well. Okay, so let us see the types of ambiguity. First is lexical ambiguity. A single word has multiple meanings, that is polysemy or homonymy. So then the examples for this could be a bank. So when we say bank, it may refer to a financial institution or it may refers to a river bank. Then it's syntactic ambiguity. So a sentence can have multiple valid parse trees due to ambiguous grammatical structures. For example, if I say the boy saw the man with the telescope. So first interpretation would be the boy used a telescope to see the man. Second interpretation could be the man had the telescope. Hope you got this two interpretations for the single sentence. The boy saw the man with the telescope. That is syntactic ambiguity. Next, we talk about semantic ambiguity. A sentence which has multiple interpretations at the meaning level. For example, if I say visiting relatives can be annoying. So first interpretation could be the act of visiting relatives is annoying. Second interpretation is relatives who are visiting are annoying. Then we talk about pragmatic ambiguity. So the context or intent of a statement can alter its meaning. Okay, the context or intent of a statement can alter its meaning. For example, can you pass the salt? Question mark. First interpretation for this sentence would be a literal question about the ability. Second interpretation would be a polite request. Got it? So he's just asking the salt. So then we talk about word sense disambiguation. So word sense disambiguation is the task of determining the correct sense of, or correct sense in the sense, correct meaning of a word in a given text. So now we see why word sense disambiguation is important. First one is machine translation. This avoids incorrect translations by selecting the right sentence. For example, bank. So a bank can be a financial institution or a river bank. Next is information retrieval. So this improves search engine relevance by understanding word meanings. Then is sentiment analysis. Resolves ambiguous words with different polarities. For example, cool is a positive sense, and the same cool can be temperature sense, right? Then approaches to WSD. That is word sense disambiguation. First one is knowledge-based methods. So which use lexical resources like WordNet to identify the sense. For example, the WordNet will define bank with senses like, a financial institution, a land beside a land beside a river, and the algorithm will try to choose the correct sense based on the semantic relationships that exist. And then we talk about the supervised learning. That is, it train classifiers on annotated corpora. Corpora is the database or corpus we say with labeled word senses. For example, if I say he deposited money in the bank, so the label it gives us output is financial institution. Since there are the terms like deposited, money, all these things relates to financial. Third one is unsupervised learning, where users clustering techniques to group words into senses which based on the context. So, for example, if I say, bank in context of money, and if I say ATM, it refers to financial sense cluster, right? So, in that way. Then it's about contextualized embeddings. So, which uses deep learning models like BERT or GPT to understand word senses based on the context. So, to give you an example for this contextualized embeddings, if I give the input sentence as the cat sat on the bank of a river, the model will output you as a word embedding matches the river bank. Okay. So then examples for word sense disambiguation in action. So first example you see sentence with polysemous word we call. So the sentence is she went to the bank to withdraw money. So the word sense disambiguation will process now as the context it takes. So context it is withdrawing the money, right? So now the correct sense what it understands for this particular bank is financial institutions. So this is the relation what we need to understand. So basically the word will have its meaning based upon the context where it has been used or incorporated. Second example is syntactic and semantic context. Sentence is the crane flew over the construction site. So now word sense disambiguation will process. The context is flew over suggests bird sense. So since the birds will fly, right? The correct sense is bird. Then third example, cross-lingual ambiguity we say. So sentence is, he saw a bat in the cave. So now bat, an animal, okay, or a sports instrument also. Context is cave. So this will be an animal sense. Then applications of ambiguity resolution and word sense disambiguation. So now it improves query relevance by disambiguating ambiguous terms. For example, searching Java should understand if the user means programming language or island. The second is chatbots and virtual assistants. So enhances user interactions by resolving ambiguous requests. Example, book a table for me. This is dining reservation versus book a table. So buy furniture. So generally this term book is also having multiple meanings. So to read a book will have certain meaning. To book a ticket will have certain meaning, right? So that is what is referring to. Then is machine translation, ensures accurate translations by disambiguating words with multiple meanings. So light is illumination, or the light can be weight. You can see different language here. Next is sentiment analysis. So resolves ambiguous words to determine correct sentiment polarity. For example, the movie was cool, so it is positive, and the cool can also relate to your weather, but here since they are talking about the movie and it is cool, the context what it understands is the movie is positive. Okay, and next, question answering systems. So it extracts accurate answers by resolving word senses. For example, what is the price of a bat? So the sports equipment or animal. So it doesn't refer to any other context like animal, right? Then there's algorithm for this word sense disambiguation we called as Lesk algorithm. So basically, in natural language processing, the word sense disambiguation is a very big challenge actually to determine in which sense. Sense means what is the correct meaning of a word that is activated by its specific context to say where it has been used the word. Okay. Always the meaning of the word will depend upon the context where it has been used. So this Lesk algorithm is a kind of is a way of word sense disambiguation we say. It has a dictionary based approach. So now you can see here a sentence with an ambiguous word is given as an input for this Lesk algorithm. So for each possible sense of the ambiguous word, it computes the overlap between the senses dictionary definition and the context words. So output would be sense with the highest overlap. For example, for the word bank in he sat on the bank definition, financial institution, a place where money is kept. Riverbank is the land alongside a river. These are the dictionary terms which it have. Now overlap with sat and on is higher for riverbank because no one has this sat and on having a highest overlap on a financial institution bank. These are the terms which are having a high relevance with a riverbank. So this is how Lesk algorithm will work. Okay, and with this Lesk, Michael E. Lesk, who is have introduced the Lesk algorithm in 1986. This terms to be a classical approach for word sense disambiguation in NLP, where the dictionary-based approach we say. So then the implementation steps for this would be it counts the number of words in the neighborhood of the word and in the dictionary definition of that sense for each sense of the word being disambiguated. And the sense to be picked is the one with the greatest number of items in this count. So in this particular example, the bank refers to river bank. So then we talk about challenges in WSD. Okay. First one is ambiguity. The sentences often provides limited context for resolving ambiguity. Then it's about domain sensitivity. So where word meanings can vary by domain. For example, cell in biology versus telecommunication, there's a lot of difference, right? That is the called domain sensitivity. And then knowledge representation is the other challenge. That is lack of sufficient labeled datasets or ontologies for every language. Then we talk about discourse processing. So what is discourse processing? So discourse processing involves analyzing the structure, meaning, and function of language beyond individual sentences to interpret how sentence combine to form coherent text or dialogue. So the key focus is on understanding how relationships between sentences and their context create meaningful communication. So the goals of discourse processing are: first, identify coherence and structure. So in texts and dialogues. Second is to resolve ambiguities. Example, pronouns and references. Third is understand intentions and relationships between different discourse elements. So then we talk about challenges in discourse processing. So first is resolving reference ambiguities. That is, he in John met Mark and he left. That is ambiguity. So who is he referring to? Second is understanding implicit relationships between sentences. Third is modeling long range dependencies in text or conversations. Then it's about importance in NLP applications. First one is dialogue systems. It ensures multi-turn conversations make sense. And second is summarization, which helps extract and connect main ideas. Third is machine translation, which maintains coherence across sentences. Next is question answering, also links context to specific questions. Uh, Theories in discourse processing. So first one is centering theory, we call, so which explains how entities are tracked and referenced within a discourse. Okay. So first one is rhetorical structure theory, RST. Second is Gross and Sedner's model, which focuses on intentional structure, attentional state, and linguistic structure of discourse. Rhetorical structure theory we see in our next video. Thank you, students.